Thank you, everybody. Apologies for the long delay. And welcome back to our finals of Oversalt this weekend. We have back to Goat Extraordinaire Eternal Eclipse versus Deathwing's Toothpick. I am your play-by-play caster for tonight, Farox, alongside with your color caster, Ellen Veal. Now, Ellen Veal, looks like this first match point we're going to see might be heading off to Gibraltar, and as we know, we have Eternal Eclipse on one side, who is showing great utilization of the god's composition. How do you think they will utilize it in this map?
I think they could try to utilize it, but Gibraltar was always not really a map for the Goats comp. You tend to go through other strats because the Goats comp doesn't really work with that verticality that most of the map brings, or you have to bring out a lot of different variations of the Goats comp. For example, something that can actually go up to the high ground because a lot of teams tend to go into the that space to defend. So I probably think they will show us something different. But if they do the goats comp, it could get rough because there are a lot of places where verticality can rule against them.
Like you would see, I would imagine big sniper, a lot of like big sniper plays, a lot of dive compositions in that matter.
The sniper compositions are right now what I would say would probably come out more. The dive comp could work, but dive is a bit of an iffy situation half the time. I would probably even expect a Reaper more in that case because I feel like Reaper has right now a chance to really shine. And if you can kind of go towards the Beyblade comp that was used a long time ago, you could actually take out something to use that to your advantage.
Well, looks like our travel to be a little bit delayed as one of our players is just having a little bit of technical so we apologize once more for the delay, but we should we should be able to be start off this game in the meantime. So as everybody who will be watching this right now, please give our Twitch Oversalt or our YouTube as well or a subscribe when you can.
Yeah, that is something that we would highly appreciate. Since we can't right now, the tournaments can't be live streamed right now because of the tournament rules, unfortunately. And yeah, but otherwise, I feel like it's a good thing. And honestly, we waited quite a bit already, as you viewers didn't see. So hopefully, we can get into the matchup soon because I feel like Eternal Eclipse could be in a slight disadvantage since they were sitting in the lobby with us as well and are perhaps not as warmed up as they were after the first matchup.
That was the other thing exactly was on my mind. You know, if you ever seen concept called being iced down, it uh, it actually comes from fighting games when when basically a player is winning the round, his stomping is getting high, but then some technical difficulty issue comes and they'll have to take 5 minutes to fix it, and like they just lose their mental momentum. Hopefully, that shouldn't be the case. But Deathwing just came out just hot, hot. So, well, looks like they'll also need to take turn to be iced down as well. Being, but since we're on the topic of composition verticality, so apart from Reaper Beyblade, what would from your imagination would you conjure your dream, your fantasy of composition or plays that or advantage, which you might want like to see happen in the map?
So, what I would like to see, double sniper. I tend to see double sniper. I like it more with the Hanzo comp lately because the Ash kind of takes the Hanzo role, but I feel like the Hanzo has a bit more of the movement than Ash does, even though both have some ways to escape out of most of the fights. And Bob is a really great ult, to be honest, and that is something, but I would perhaps tend to love to see Tracer coming back, but I don't think she will right now because that's kind of an issue that they always always have right now because Tracer kind of lost since the Pulse Bomb nerf, which was a while back. But otherwise, I would feel like, for example, I would like to see a bit more of the Wrecking Ball in the playstyle because Wrecking Ball can just climb up places and that stuff. I like him a lot as a defensive hero, for example, for the defense team if they use him because he has this great ult that is a really good area denial and nobody can really move on to the point in that moment. And if you, for example, do it on the first point under the bridge, or exactly as you drop down from the bridge, you can clear up some space, and they can't really do much against that.
Man, like you admit, like Wrecking Ball, I did have my doubts, but I guess I appreciate him as well because of his very extremely high skill cap and his unpredictability to move around all angles. So it's really one of those heroes which is not limited to the imagination, like Brigitte. uh, but I was also hoping, looking forward to more good Wrecking Ball plays in general because those are tend to be like insane and they always basically put the other team on high nerves and alert because it's like the creature from the night, Batman that's like pile driver on you when you least expect it.
Yeah, that's something, and I feel like it feels quite nice for Wrecking Ball because Wrecking Ball is like, for my mind, Doomfist as well. Those are two heroes that really reward you for playing it well most of the time. Sometimes I feel like others don't give you that much, which is kind of an interesting situation to say about a lot of the characters in Overwatch. But for example, with Doomfist and Wrecking Ball, I feel like if you play them really well, you have fun because you understand the hero and it's more rewarding in that case.
Unbelievably awarding cash money everywhere. So now, looks like the team are finally being ready. So thank you for sitting up to your high knees, ladies and gentlemen, because finally this game is going underway. We are going to watch Point Gibraltar for our finals this weekend.
Yeah, and now we're in a best of five, so we at least have three maps going up. And I feel like Gibraltar is a good start because both teams kind of have to go out of probably their comfort zone with goats. Because, as I said, this map doesn't really feel that good about goat. But a lot of teams still try to run goats on this map. But I would hope that both teams have a few tricks up their sleeves. Perhaps we'll see a good Symmetra, perhaps a Torbjorn. There's a lot of things that could go around, but right now we can probably start seeing what the defense will run.
And looks like maybe some prayers have been answered, maybe some predicaments. Great, really good prediction because looks like Eternal for once are indeed moving out of their comfort zone, and we see everything just like you said. We got a Hanzo, we got a Widow, we got a Tor, we got a Symmetra potentially. Oh, this is just looking crazy right now. Moment. So we might have ourselves right, but I wouldn't. I would hold my breath a little bit more for Deathwing right now as they're just getting ready out of the gate because they don't seem to have a strong support. But they are looking. It looks like it's going to be almost like Shimada brothers against a double sniper comp. But
Mm.
hold up a second. We are actually being requested for a pause. So the producers is what the heck? This is a very early April's Fool. Oh,
So
that
yeah, we have the short pause, and looks like I don't know.
then he
I
said,
think they
"Never mind. That's not that. I don't. Is that even legal?
it's not a
We'll
tactical
see.
pause, so it's fine.
We'll see. Basically, the Shimada brothers need to know which wall to climb, practically.
Yeah,
And now seeing that Bulldog looking over the edge and going at a very dangerous opposition, being died behind with his teammates. Let's see if they're gonna make anything up, but they get needed and they run back, and he just gets electrocuted by the Winston with a solid defense from the high ground all the way up to the down floor. Is Team Eternal having the being Obi-Wan and well, Deathwing the Anakin, so it seems.
yeah, that was kind of unfortunate. I think they didn't really calculate the dive because we saw the jumping up beforehand before even the Winston was up there, and I think that caused a bit of chaos, and the chaos was used quite nicely by Internal
Well,
Eclipse.
Well, take two comes in again with Deathwing and the Diva diming him up the top, but not looking every follow up with Stacy, the Hanzo, just basically going down, saying like, ah, screw that, we'll just push the payload from down below. We will basically see if Eternal is going to utilize jumping back, and the Diva just going down, being needed, not being in a good position, but able to get herself out of there without King losing his mech. This is kind of looking for bleak right now for Team Eternal as he gets sniped out, as their Hanzo gets sniped out, and we have a very angry Mount the blue stuff. Angel Prime doing the do as he takes out both support in the back line, forcing now forcing now Team Deathwing. What a good play by Angel Prime. Just separating the team, taking out the supports, and just opening a big, wide, childbearing berth for this team to just take out the rest and having a more solid defense.
Yeah, it was quite a solid push there from Angel Prime. I was kind of unsure as it started off because Angel Prime was already in his primal rage while he got the nano boost, and I feel like that's always an iffy situation, and there's already a pick.
And here, basically, a dragon is out. With two dragons out, both teams stuck between a rock and a spirit dragon. As Stacy picks out their Lucio, what is going on with ultis going up left and right, Vitali mirroring each other. Looks like the high ground as at the time thing looks a bit chaotic as duels are happening and Night Moon popping off with a couple of kills, which gives more opportunities for Team Eterner to push back Team Deathwing once more, being separated and forcing to go back. Zenyatta, their Zenyatta is not in a good position, being healed from the other side by their Ana. They are just everywhere at the moment at this point. Looks like they're trying to get their composure, and once more, Hanzo separates the team off from the inside, but doesn't get to anybody. Now, with 40 seconds left on the clock, looks like Team Deathwing is going to gather themselves one last time. They were having a double sniper. Meanwhile, upstairs, we're having a double sniper batter. Bulldogs taken out. Angel once more. It's his nano boost. Let's see if he's gonna do make anything happen. But a Lucio, sorry, a Zenyatta stops him from doing anything for the time being. Stalls the gameplay for a while, and basically being very patient in Eternal to finally like draw the fight out to their own advantage, slowly winning it with only 5 seconds left on the clock. We will see if any. Oh no, Genji's out. There's now 5 man down, 5 man down, almost 4 man down. Doesn't look good for Team Eternal as they are looking like the raid boss at the moment, being farmable right now. With overtime, looks like they're not gonna make this in time. The first round goes for Team Eternal.
Yeah, that was kind of an interesting situation towards the end. Right, Deathwing tried to push him up every time one by one, but the problem for them was in between that they got picked off. That they didn't really have an answer for the Widow who just got an instant pick all the time. So Eternal started off the fights with an advantage every time, and then the Widow just kept on picking on sides. Meanwhile, the tanks were trying to dive onto the enemy team. It was kind of an iffy situation for Deathwing Toothpicks. They couldn't go forward, they couldn't really go back, and that kind of created a mess that they never really got out of.
We'll see now if we have a cleanup on aisle 5. Let's see if get their act together with such a disadvantage of distance at the time being. Let's see if they're gonna run something. And well, my all behold, when it doubt goat it out, as the saying goes. They are going full-blown desperado of goats in a not very favorable goats kind of map, as we've been talking about it before. Meanwhile, we can see that Eternal is sticking to their guns. Look like they do have more than one trick up their sleeve, which is not goats. So honestly, to me, it's more of a question. If they see the set and they can't do much about it, will they most likely change back to their old goats and see who's gonna reign the superior goats?
That could be an option, but I feel like the positioning right now is kind of weird that Deathwing Toothpicks have been picking out that they're hiding down in the tunnel. I would have probably preferred if they stayed on the high ground and probably hid behind the container up there so they can actually drop down on the enemy team, kind of surprise them from that situation, because right now they're kind of hiding, and right now Eternal just gets to pick their position one that where they want to go with. They don't
And
know where the
successfully too. Look like Metal Gear Solid Gibraltar. Look like they're going off with the Lucio boost. Even though like they get needed for a bit, they get pushed back. The aggressive push does not get anybody out. No, he gets King out of their mech in a disadvantage. But the Hanzo with a shot to the head on Stacy, on the Brigitte. Oh, look at that. The Archer is popping off for Eternal side. Actually pushing. Oh, it's actually pushing Team Eternal back, and a reckless charge by a low HP Reinhardt. Abra gets taken out with not getting enough healing, and this is look like to be a very easy GG for Team Eternal. What is up with that execution?
Yeah, as I said, they had a weird position where they started off. They tried to hide in the corner. They pushed out, but they didn't really want to push further. Then they tried to back off in a way, and then they got caught in a kind of pincer. They had the tanks in front of them, and on the other side they had the Hanzo standing in the back who just kind of could pick his shots, and the Widow was waiting on the other side as well. That they just had the opening shot. The Reinhardt can't hold his shield up in two directions at once, so there was openings to be taken.
Well, looks like it's a very swift game in this out of five by TC. If finally we have enough games, so the other team might get the opportunity to bring it around. We will hope to see that as we are going to find out that answer in our next map, Numbani.
In another map where goats isn't that prevalent, so it's kind of interesting that we have this kind of map pool in the finals. But as we saw it, we didn't have to fear about Eternal actually having the problems with going about being cold or anything. They executed their plays well. I think they took this extra time to actually think around the tactics about the maps because they did have the time to actually work it around. And I feel like what they were doing on the map, for example, on Gibraltar, it didn't feel like they were just like, "Are we sure we're going to do it?" They knew what they wanted to execute, and they executed it perfectly in that case.
Looks like the concept of icing down has been not proven not true, as they were sitting with us in lobby entire time. Maybe they're actually being productive with their time and do thinking about these stuff over. Well, with 5 seconds left, we are just gonna see what is going to go up on the gates, and I just very curious because I can't imagine. What do you think now is gonna be more optimal? If you're saying not another good map for goats, what do you expect them to see as your favorite, like the best optimal composition?
I was thinking about going double sniper for them once again because it felt like they were quite good, and we see a Pharah on the enemy side. Even if we don't know it, this map does have some ways for a Pharah to really work out, but it looks like they're going with a McCree. That could be quite interesting. McCree can do quite a good amount of damage. They just have to be careful that, for example, the Winston and the Diva don't get on him. Otherwise, the McCree is kind of out of the fights every time. I'm not so sure about the Genji, but I'm giving them right now the shadow of the doubt because it feels like they know what they're doing right now because they probably pre-planned this.
Indeed, and they have been showing a solid performance, and we will see because Mercy against Pharmacy, if I checked last time, is not his best days. But at now, like the Pharmacy is up, Bulldog being pocketed by the Pharmacy, pushing the dive team comp back for a bit. Now they're just taking the high ground, which allows Team Deathwing to go on the point. Here comes the dive, but Blue Dog takes out our favorite ninja, and the dives up, one going downstairs. The Deathwing trying to push back Team Eternals off the balcony before he gets taken out himself. Right now it's looking a little bit 50-50 at the moment. No, I say too soon. Look like it is Eternal as the Winston gets successful rest by the Mercy. Everybody's captured everywhere. Looks like composition-wise, Deathwing seem to have the upper hand, and they're going to have a very early steal on the first
Yeah, that's definitely what they did. They did it for fast first steal. Now we've seen Eternal switch around. They went back to the double sniper comp, which could be helpful, especially against the Pharah. They have to be just aware that the Pharah's almost at an ult. The I haven't seen much from the Sombra doing much for the team that much, but there is a lot of ult charge there, so there has been something going right. Meanwhile, still, we have to be careful on the side of Eternal. There are 3 ults already against them, and those 3 ults can be quite deadly in that case.
We will see now as basically the dive, definitely diving with the dirt. Everybody's diving on each other. It's basically a start at this point. The pilot is still trying to be stopped, slowly but surely pushing around the second corner. Here comes a big bomb. Is it not so huge at the moment? While Angel basically see if he can make something work with that nano boost. The Revenant, and okay, one support for the time being, but it looks like it is going for Team Deathwing. The Mercy is being very efficient so far as keeping the team strong in the fight, being dive on too much pressure for them to take out the Pharah, and they're going to very quickly take the second point. Oh, how the table has turned, and very turned solidly here. They just got the second point easy.
Yeah, they got it quite easily, and let's be honest, Blue Dog still has the rocket barrage up. Now that Aprak has the Primal Rage as well, I'm still kind of iffy about the MP they used in between because I felt like that wasn't really needed for the fight, but if they can get it up soon enough, they can probably do a bit more with that, and now the fight breaking out once again.
Once again, basically an Angel Prime going, and here comes a big bomb. Maybe we can see some momentum and takes out both of the supports. This is a cue for the team to rush in and takes out and finally put the emergency break on this payload. With 5 minutes left, a big time, but finally there is a stoppage where looks like Deathwing has going to recalibrate to what you know and behold. Goats, come on, guys! It's just one fight. It's just one fight, and you already switched to goats.
Well, I feel kind of weird about that as well, especially since Blue Dog kind of threw out a rocket barrage that they never used in any way, shape, or form. But the payload's now moving forward once again.
And like this is a discount fight. This is so cheap as you're just rushing in one pocket. If it works, it works. We're just gonna rush in. Lunix takes out one, blows up the other person. This is a very stompy because they're just not underprepared for the mental war of that instant switch to the goats. Just give them a very easy, solid score on the third point for Deathwing. What a turnaround. Cheap but efficient.
Yeah, it wasn't quite a good turnaround. As I said, it's kind of weird that they kind of had a rocket barrage they never used, which was an interesting position for that one. But honestly, if you get the surprise element with that goat switch, then take it. They did a good attack there. They pressured
Yeah, there's
everything
nothing to
down.
complain about. It worked, and it worked very nicely. Like, what can I say? If it works, it works, and that's how the game is designed to be. So, I have no comment, honestly.
Yeah, but the last point is actually where you can pull out a goats for this map because the first point it's too much high ground, and the second place you can see a lot of balconies and all that stuff. You can't really use goats that much on the street face, but as you move towards the museum, you do have a chance to really use the goats
Well,
comp there.
well, somebody is not partying this weekend. They're definitely been doing this homework on that. But looks like this time we're going to have them Team Deathwing defending with the Ghost. No, that's sorry, not a variant of Ghost with a Winston this time.
Yeah, that's why I love to more call the goats comp a death ball comp because then you can just call it the death ball comp most of the time and you don't have to worry about switching around who that is and what it is. But yeah, they're going around with that. I feel like it could work actually in their favor right now because but the interesting thing will be I feel like Eternal knows what a goat comp can do and now we have to see who wins the goats fight actually.
Yeah, we're having a very mirror matchup, lineups, ladies and gents, as Team Eternal is going the sneaky breaky down from the underside onto the point where they'll basically get the drop on with the higher ground on the advantage for Team Deathwings. And we're going to have basically a bar fight. A brawl is going, and which is favoring Team Deathwing. Looks like they have been strongly pushing this around, but it look like an even fight at the moment. Who will basically pushing the big damage output with the because it's a dust ball at the moment, Tom and Jerry style. Uh, and with a boop off by Abrak, very well efficient, even though he sacrifices himself. Team Eternal is slowly trying to back off. Will they get their composure? No, they're diving in without assault mat. They don't.
Ooh.
Oh, Revenant be giving the blue stuff over to Angel Prime without even dying himself. A Diva Bomb from Eternal doesn't fight anything, and they're basically pushback. It's just a ping pong match at this moment. It's a tennis match, as both team on the point going back and forth. Blue Team Eternal, even though they had an opportunity to regain the composure, they are just so aggressive and just pushing out with a number and a spawn disadvantage, and it looked like it's costing them a lot of time as they seem to be losing these fights so far. 2 minutes left on the clock. They just wasted themselves a lot of time.
Yeah, that was quite a bit of time they lost with that one. I think they could have found a way to retreat, but both sides threw a lot of ults out right now. Now Eternal's a bit on the back foot. They have two ults up, but the others aren't really that close. But both sides have just been throwing ults out. I feel like if they tried to go upstairs and not underground, they could have had a better chance, because if you go downstairs, you do give up the high ground, and ours has accepted
And
two
look
dead
at
dive.
that, and they repeat it again, but this time they're going full pure cocaine goats. 100% from Colombia. And basically a DP bomb is out, it doesn't take out anybody. Their goats, Eternal Goats is spread out, and they're at a disadvantage as they lose the Reinhardt, but at the simultaneously Team Devon loses their Brigitte. The Zenyatta's out basically allows the Team Devon to gain some composure once more. Kings Diva Bomb just goes
Oh,
anything, and a graviton which doesn't get anybody whatsoever. But the turn is finally for Team Eternal. All of a sudden, good. Doesn't look like the point, as you just need to clear out of the point. Actually, one more out of the point. Survival mode using that ulti. Is there any wisdom of using it? We will see if it just buys enough time for his team as he Super Mario's around, just jumping up and down, up and down. One take, two take is more of a question. I don't think they're able to get in time though. With one tick left, I no, their team Eternal is going to get the first point.
yeah, the Primal Rage makes sense in that case, that they really do wanted to switch him over seemingly, and he just bought them a lot of time. And if you look at the time bank, they're already buying themselves a lot of time.
And indeed, and looks like already he comes back with a vengeance as a Reinhardt. What the hell happened in the background? Anna just went off the edge. And that gives enough time for Team Eternal to hit back and say, we know goats too, you son of a gun. Look, at this time, Numbani feels like the Wild West, but as Team Eternal is getting pushed back to their spawn point. With 2 minutes left on the clock, for the first time, Team Eternal actually have their back against the wall, which is kind of honestly refreshing to see once in this tournament.
Yeah, they have their backs against the wall, and it looks like the fight is not really breaking down, but the ult charge is now in case of the
And
side.
Rel is up, and we'll see it here. And retaliation, and is hammered down by Afric. A big opportunity for Lumnix to drop a bomb, takes out Metropan. What an Earth Shatter, which opens a lot of great opportunities to put the Team Eternal once more. This is just not a winning fight. This is a statement.
Yeah, Deathwing Toothpick did quite a good job with the Earth Shatter. As I was stating before the fight just broke out, they have the ult advantage. They used it perfectly. Instant Earth Shatter got out with the Diva Bomb that took two, and they still have three ults up. Eternal has three ults as well, but one is in only the Nano Boost, and now they're going
Angel
in.
now with 1 minute left, but he gets stopped, hammered down, but he gets stopped by sacrificing Abrak at the cost of his ulti. But it doesn't seem to be futile though, a very valiant effort by Abrak, but that still does not stop the momentum of Team Eternal, as finally they can getting almost a team wipe out in their advantage, and with 60 seconds on the clock they only have a very good momentum going. Hopefully with in buying themselves enough time to at least get the second point, otherwise it's gonna be a GG.
Yeah, so right now they need to pull a bit back, just wait for them to come to them, but I don't think they want to do that. They want to move far forward, they want to play it aggressive, and you see that it's going in that way.
And basically look hammered down basically, but oh no, that might have cost them the match. Abrax hammer has been on point so far in these last two matches. He has been performing well, and this might almost secure the team the win. They have stuck their neck so far, and they almost kind of got their head chopped off because of it. With 9 seconds left on the clock, looks like they're gonna be bleak, but look at that positioning. Angel Prime and Brigitte in the background. With 0 .2 on the clock, they left it on overtime. What is going on back over there? The team just left the entire team to fight in the back, and they might get the third point. Hammer down. Let's see if we can make anything happen. This is looking very tight, very risky. Oh my goodness, they're actually gonna get this. Team Eternal just went on a suicide mission and they accomplished it. They got a second point. That was insane.
Yeah, they played it out amazingly, to be honest. They did really well with that. We saw how they snuck into the back, claiming it. The Pharah switch was quite nice for them in that case, that they do have a Pharah right now, so they can put in some damage. And the only person that really can get the Pharah right now on the side of Deathwing is the Zenyatta, and the Zenyatta has a bit more to take care of than just shooting out a Pharah.
Let's not forget as well that seems. Oh my, never mind. I was speaking too soon, and I like it when I do that because I like being wrong. Basically, a blue angel prime just goes up and being squished on the wall. 40 seconds. It does not look great. Abrak is basically being the man of the match for the time being, opening up all the worlds of wonders like Aladdin on his magic carpet for the Deathwing, showing off back. I'm trying to just make them lose so much time. How will team how will Team Eternal bring out a miracle for it? I hope I get shocked. I hope I get surprised. With 20 seconds left on the clock. Let's see what they're gonna do this time. I wanna hold my breath for the time being. 10 seconds left on the clock. It looks like it's gonna be a head-to-head fight. Hammered down, doesn't find anything. A combo, but it takes out the Brigitte, and oh, an opportunity for the Reinhardt to have Abrak, but oh, Metropan just basically evens the odd with a barrage taking out. Oh, this is another. Looks like it's another miracle. How many magical moment can Team Eternal pull out from the rear? But since the spawn is so close, and with most of the team from Team Eternal are from their spawn. This is going to look very tight, a very tight opening for Team Eternal as a brawl is happening. All you can see right now is a wrecking ball just moving around and around, and in Angel Prime just stage dives and opening opportunity. Looks like they're gonna have this. They're winning this fight. Eternal might actually get this. They only have to stop the wrecking ball from moving around, with only being halted by a Zenyatta Transcendence, but what Nate basically holds that momentum, hammered down, just takes out two, finally takes out Zenyatta, denied by Abrak, forcing the team on the overtime. Oh my god, almost C9, that was just so little close. It looks tight. Lucio running out into the ball. Both support are down for Team Eternal, and the Diva hunting out Maestro in the air, knowing how much a threat he is, does not time, but it's GG for Deathwing with such a tight defense. What an amazing comeback thus far, but I have to give it up. Both team performed valiantly, but what can I say, man? That was speechless. That was a good match. What can I say?
That was a great push towards the end. That was really good. Abrak showing here off, really going in there, finding a good opening there. Sees how the shield goes down, instantly shatters as soon as he knew that the shield was gone, and that was great Reinhardt play. That's what you want to see from your Reinhardt player, just hitting that as soon as he knows that the shield can't be there, so you don't accidentally hit the shield. Otherwise, I have to say, Deathwings did a good push. They got a great push. The hold was barely there thanks to the spawn disadvantage there for Eternal, but Eternal did a good turnaround. Would have been probably hard to get through that if they pushed through, because they would have gotten a minute, while if I remember correctly, Deathwings would have had 5 minutes, which is quite an iffy situation if you want to really hold there. And I don't think they could have done it for 5 minutes.
Wow, that knocked the wind out of me. And speaking knocking off the wind, looks like we're gonna go on for a short break, ladies and gentlemen. So we will be just right back after this message. What message? There's no message. We'll be right back. Thank you very much for joining us once again, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys joined us right now, this is the finals between Eternal Eclipse and Death Wings. This is your host, Farix. Again, joining me is our color caster as well, Alan Vale. Now, speaking of catching our breath, we are going up to the high altitude for Nepal, and for both games, it's like it was a great turnaround. So we have ourselves a fight for once, and we are going for Nepal. So, Alan Vale, what do you think? More goats?
Yeah, but I think we'll have quite a few variations of the goats comp because honestly, on this map, there's a lot of room to go around depending on which map we get, depending on where we start. For example, if we start with the
Sure.
Sanct Shrine, we can have the normal goats comp, so there could be some variations. I could imagine even a Reaper going in here because this place is kind of a situation where Reaper can really shine, but I don't think I still see a Reaper here. Pharah isn't so good because the high altitude, because of the roof here, but it seems like they're still going to go for the Pharah, which is kind of a counter for goats, but I'm not sure if that's the best situation to have, especially if you can't really put the Pharah inside the point because she often will hit the roof.
Well, that is seems to be as well, and also like Team Deathwing is just going for another interesting matchup, at least with a Sombra as well. But we haven't really seen much, except for a good EMP in the past. We haven't seen much of his or her Sombra lately. But the game has been starting basically underway. Hopefully, with being this is a conquest map, this is a brawl map. Maybe we'll see more of the more shining from the Sombra this time, as basically sneaking from the back, as a basically brawl up the stairs. Team Deathwing having the high ground, but it doesn't matter because as long as the goat sticks together, they can just waiting for the Lucio to just ball on in. But that's not enough time. They took too much time for the Farah the takes out and charging her up super fast. I barely even have noticed it on steroid with an early ulti was allowed Team Deathwing to secure the point quickly and efficiently.
Yeah, Blue Dove proved me wrong. He made the Pharaoh work quite nicely, and I gotta do a shout out for Stacy there. The Sombra did great with her hack there and took out instantly the shield of the Reinhardt, which opened up the whole situation that they could just start blowing up the enemy team.
Well, let's see if Team Eternal can learn and adapt quickly. Now realizing who is the big bad threat right here. They're going in, rushing in, kind of a little bit spreading out for a bit. They're still trying, but they're getting in a tight situation. Now it's a Reinhardt against a huge monkey. He's just being knocked around, finding no span. But the McCree Metropan takes him out, even though at the cost of the car. Looks like this cowboy is on a roll, basically getting bounty. Bomb in the middle doesn't find anything. Blue Dog trying to fly around, takes out Angel at the meantime. A brawl is happening in the middle. Look in the favor of Team Eternal. They have Eternal rallies up, giving their team some breathing room, pushing Team Eternal. The high noon is up. Watch synchronized clock, and it looks like Team Eternal is getting this one back with only 80%, which is the in the favor of Team Deathwing. Blue Team Eternal returns with a solid statement.
Yeah, it was kind of an iffy situation. I feel like the MP shouldn't have gone out there because I don't really feel like there was much follow-up for that MP, unfortunately, for Stacy there. But honestly, otherwise, it was good usage of the ults there. They still have two up on the side of Eternal, while Deathwing only have the Rocket Barrage, and McCree has been proving up something to hold them in the game right now, and the fight is breaking out once again.
Oh, and just like that, and as you said, it takes out, and basically the pharmacy is down, the trump card is out, and Team Deathwing running back with their tails back against its leg, without another cap.
Yeah, and Mitropan has been playing the McCree quite nicely. If he can find now a good position to station himself up for the high noon, he could go even harder against them. And we see, meanwhile, Deathwing switching over to the Goats comp and going in.
And here it comes, and oh! Mid Linux just stopping the dead eye into its tracks. Now basically we're just gonna have a hammer down, doesn't find anything by Angel Prime. Get your stuff together. Big bomb doesn't allow an opportunity for Abrak to cut Angel Prime up into with a Reinhardt disadvantage. It's not looking good for Team Eternal. But ulti is up and it's like a goat. We have to basically patient and ulti utilization as Abra gets naded but pushing out. Team Blue out back in their spawn point. It does not blink for them. Oh, how did Angel Prime get back? He got back so quickly, I haven't even noticed it. Bombs up, doesn't get anything for the time being. And finally, the wheels are turning for Team Deathwing. Looks like they're gonna able to get it. Will they able? But Lucio is trying to hold in time without not until he gets a stun. With 80% now, it looks like whoever wins this team fight and whoever wins this point gets to win this first round.
Yeah, that's definitely something that's going to happen. The next team fight will decide who wins the matchup, and Angel Prime is
And it looks
dropping their flow.
and he just dropped it. That was an angel down. Here comes the hammer to shatter. And that looked good, not looking good for Team Eternal as they're on Team Eternal on survival mode at the moment. Brigitte rallying. He did nano boosted, just trying to swing away to no avail, just not enough quam to just take hammer, nothing. Round goes for Team Deathwing.
Yeah, Deathwing played that quite nicely. They got the point quite late. They didn't give it up after that one and just kept holding. They got it early, then they lost it, and then they just kind of turned it around as they needed to. But the goat switch was the point for them actually, and the problem was just for Eternal in that case. The McCree doesn't do enough damage to really outplay the goats comp. They outheal everything the McCree can do, and
And
he's a bit too close, and they can just close in on him and kill him.
and how come Angel Prime is just basically finding him predicaments and getting easily opportunities for him to die?
He's a bit too aggressive right now. He's going into the enemy team, and the enemy team is instantly focusing him down whatever he does. And sometimes he drops the shield to get a swing in or get a fire strike in, and that's just an opportunity they're taking. And on the side right now from Deathwing, we see this kind of pull comp that you love to play on this point, just to pull somebody into the pit. With you see everything, and Nightmoon gets the first pick off as a Widow there.
And this is basically it's going to have a long range. It looked like there are two trenches as the double sniper is proving more benefit for them as both team goes in the point with the advantage going for Team Eternal, and basically Lunex and Vegeta stuck in the wall. They know it's no avail. It's going to be a very quick cap for Team Eternal. Let's see how Team Deathwing will adapt to that.
Yeah, they're going again towards the goats comp with. Yeah, they're going towards the coast comp with the Zenyatta as the other healer, and right now they could take an advantage. Depends on how Night Moon and Mitropan take down the shields, I would say, to really show efficiency for them or take the headshots that they need to get. Meanwhile, Night Moon can now use the infrasights to get them a vision where they're going around, so that jig is up.
And like they see them coming, but now basically just stuck in a very tight space. King basically just takes out the both with Reinhardt and Brigitte are down and just Gibbs with little to no shield. This allows for this off and clean up the rest of Team Deathwing out.
Yeah, definitely. That was something. As you said, the shield went down, and that was the opening that both the snipers needed just to take him down. The only issue I really had with that fight was that they gave him a tick on the map, that they gave him 10%. I think they could have avoided that as well, but let's say they did it, and now they have right now the supercharger, which they can throw down soon and do some
Here
damage.
comes a Spirit Dragon now, but that does not really separate much except for the Zenyatta. But Knight when able to get off the lonely Zenyatta out by himself, but doesn't matter. The Deathwing comes in, choo choo. There's no train, no brakes on this train at the moment. Denzel Washington, unstoppable. They get to the point very quickly. Look at that. Nightman is trying to chase, trying not to get staggered. It looks like he's able to make this out of this alive.
Yeah, that's quite an achievement to get out of there alive. Right now, they need to kind of just focus on. They need to force the enemy team, for example, when they have a dragon strike, they need to force them into a position that the dragon strike hits them all at the time. Because at the last fight, they kind of just ran past the dragon strike and ran into them, and that caused a bit of chaos because Orisa is kind of a bunker tank. But if she gets pressured by the enemy team instantly, she can't really hold on that much, unfortunately.
Now rallies up now with advantage with the god with such a tight space, putting a lot of pressure on Angel Prime. When we hear a dragon, but a transcendence kind of saves the day, and Hanzo basically gets taken out. Being and meanwhile, Night when they start, they're being grappled. Meanwhile, back in the point, like the god had an advantage, but the Gnat gets two, and Abrak with his amazing shatter turns the tide back to their favor, pushing Team Eternal back to their spot.
Yeah, that looked like the fight was a bit broken up as Angel fell down. They were like, we have to do something. They still have the supercharger that they still haven't used. Mitropan now switched over to the McCree while the Night Moon went over to the Junkrat. That could take down the shields quite a bit, but they have to get onto the point now because the timer is now at 90%.
And let's see what they're gonna utilize this. Look like they're going to sneak them, and Deathwing is going to expect them. Well, Revenant is so out of position, putting the Diva instantly to sleep. And no, the Diva bomb just went out down to hell and finds nothing off the ground. No advantage, and Angel and a blue needed Angel Prime goes off down. Looks like this is looking very good for Team Deathwing. It is gonna be a GG. It's a GG. The Wing. I bold execution, but it just did not work out at all for Team Eternal.
Yeah, it was a bold execution. They just couldn't really use the comp the way they wanted to at the end. They were kind of forced to push on to the point. If they perhaps did it with 50% against them, they could have had more time because you can see Angels pushing out into that position, gets knocked off, and that's kind of what kind of threw them off in a way. Because then the rest of the enemy team could focus on whatever they wanted to. An Angel Prime couldn't do much of it, but that's one of the things I feel like the Orisa is a problem. If you have a bunker comp, you have to focus yourself in one corner of the point and you can't move away from that one, and that kind of cost them in that situation.
Well, right now, ladies and gentlemen, it's 2-1. That is point for Team Deathwing, who actually had their backs against the wall, but doing a very impressive comeback. Uh, how we'll see Eternal Eclipse, we will see in our next map, and it could be and potentially final map, unless we will see Eternal. Can they account their attribute of adaptation? We will see that as we're going even more higher in altitude into space.
So this is interesting to go through that one because Horizon Lunar Colony is an interesting map for that one. If you can, this could be the 2CP map where we have them people trading back and forth most of the time, but I feel like both teams have been showing up quite nicely. Deathwing have a bit more of a coordination. They did lose the first map quite heavily, but after that they kind of caught themselves back up and moved forward.
I guess it's what is a matter of what I call is how much of a team is willing to composure and adapt themselves in the face of loss, and that is what is many attributes like those team who can basically change around. They kind of make the game more exciting. There's gonna be a more back and forth. But Deathwing, even though they don't have the best initiation, but once they get to ground, they get back up very quickly. Eternal Eclipse, they can dominate, but once they're dominating, but once they get their time back on them, they haven't able to get back up on their feet as well as Deathwing. But since now it still have a long road ahead, but it's still very possible for them to make that comeback. So let's see now what of this team would conjure up in this very interesting, controversial.
Yeah, it could be interesting. There's a lot of positions that you can use. You can, for example, still go, for example, Torbjorn or Bastion if you don't feel secure with the goats. But I feel like both teams feel more secure with the goats, so I'm probably doubting that one of them will really go for the Bastion in that case. but it looks like Eternal's trying to prove me wrong instantly because they're going with another bunker comp with Angel Prime on the Orisa. I like the idea of that, but I don't feel like the Orisa have been really that successful for them over the match yet because the Orisa gets punished and then they kind of are done with whatever they do because King Haki doesn't look like one of the divas, unfortunately, that really peel for the team. They're more these aggressive style that love to dive onto the enemy team.
Speaking of which, what will he do? That's a Bastion. That is gonna be a very interesting pick.
Yeah, they want to do it bunker comp kind of with the Bastion there. I don't feel like that position is very favorable because if, for example, Deathwings just push run through, which they look like they kind of think about doing, then they could just move on to the point and then they force Eternal to actually move to the point, and Bastion doesn't want to move that much anymore after just positioning himself.
So picking around the corner, they know they're against a Bastion at the moment and taking out Mama Farah over there. Look like Stacy basically trying to see if can get a hack, but there's no opportunity being in such a disadvantage. And why Stacy knows that GP runs back off to the safety of her teammates. There's going to be a little bit silence now as both team try to consider. Are they going the long way around, or looks like they're going back to their spawn as Stacy makes a quick switch
Goats.
to everybody's making a couple of switches between their teammates and yeah, as you but Black Sheep, have you any goats? Yes sir, yes sir. Six stack full.
They're going goats. They should probably just try to run towards the bat. Try to run behind in that room. Try to run under the Bastion because after that they can't really grab him anymore and just move forward because
And we
that's
will see
what
that
they're
they're
exactly
all
doing.
okay, they're kind of like a bit separated. Here comes a Hanzo Blade. Let's see if it's gonna make anything happen at the moment. Their team is a bit separated at the time being, and not a very good advantage for Deathwing as Lonix loses her mech and herself to see. Nice work. I guess Bird Dragon opened some opportunities for them. But Blue Dog, well, look like what is going on here. The tide is turning all of a sudden with such a disadvantage is going off in the back. Lucio bouncing around, and a Reinhardt punches Orisa, even though with such an early fight advantage, somehow Team Eternal is not able to close the deal, and their Bastion Nightmoon is fighting all by himself, and yet somehow Deathwing is able to get the point with such a flimsy start. They're
That's
able to
exactly.
get the first point. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy, but that's exactly the point I meant with the Bastion. You do have, if he has to reset up somewhere else, then you still have that timing, and that timing was used quite nicely by Deathwing. But I felt like Eternal was like, okay, we stopped the push. They lost two members. We can just sit back now. We'll wait for the next push. While Deathwing said, okay, we lost two members. We can still do something with this and push further in.
Well, now with the whole Night Moon knowing this, we're just going out for a double sniper. So for more, it's a question again of getting the shield and getting picks. And this is a very big room with a lot of angles. Here come the Spirit Dragon. Let's see if it's gonna ward everybody off. It does. It does get Abric off, and Team Eternal is losing the the big shield component. Very dangerous, especially with a double sniper.
Except they switched, unfortunately, off the double sniper. They are still trying to run this Bastion with the Orisa. I'm not sure if you really want. I wouldn't position the Bastion, especially not there. I feel like that is a really dangerous position to have that Bastion, but he's trying his best.
So the thesis is gonna be tested as two bombs is out, and here comes with Zenyatta just around. Basically, FDC can get the high ground because they already got one tick off. Actually, they're gonna get more than that. It's an open buffet right now. Eternal's execution. What is going on? We haven't taken that long of a break, which looked like they got iced down so fast. As Deathwing is just dominating the point and taking out everybody, hammered down this track. Just easy peasy lemon squeezy. First point for Team Death. First round, apologies.
Yeah, and that's what I actually. Well, they have exactly 4 minutes still left on the clock. Wow, that's surprising actually. But as I said, the thing is with the Bastion comp, you have to keep a position the whole time. I feel like if they perhaps stationed the Bastion more towards the middle, where the Bastion could actually look down even on the point, then it would have probably been better so the Bastion didn't have to move around. And perhaps they need to work out their execution a bit more because I felt like, as you said, they kind of had the advantage at the start of the first fight, and then they kind of let off, and Deathwings just abused that point so much and took advantage of it.
Like if you ever read at the Book of Five Ring, written by the famous samurai, he kind of writes in his book that if you're such a good swordsman and if you give your opponent just a little bit inch to the left, a little bit inch to the right, you can cut the guy in half. And I think that's what happened with Deathwing. Eternal, even though they're winning the fight, just gave them that little opportunity, just a little bit angle, and that was just enough for them to cut them in half.
But interesting that Deathwing's running the same comp that Eternal ran right now, except they switched out to a Genji now, so they are going with the same thing. I still don't feel that good about the positioning they want to do there because I feel like if they go a bit towards the middle more, they can do a lot more with that, but they want to go with the same strat, so this could get quite interesting now.
It's hopefully more of a question that they don't get too comfortable, because that's what happened to Eternal. Let's see if they're actually undermining or learning from them. Now, Team Eternal is getting pinned down. They're knowing that he gets hacked by Night Moon, but not until a sacrifice. But that gives an opportunity for Team Eternal to Team Eternal to move in 5v6. That's they're basically just going under Team Eternal, trying to avoid the Bastion. Let's see if they're gonna making it on the point. But what they will do now, as the position of Stacy seems much more efficient than Night Moon in comparison. Looks like they have this one more solid, a little bit brawl coming here and there as people just as one from team for the other. Still advantage for team Deathwing. As finally they go back in the middle, and Team Eternal needs to run back and find their composure once more. But here comes the and sneaky Sombra just running around in the back.
Yeah, and as you said, they used the position much better, that they moved out the Bastion quite fast enough, and we can see Abrak seems a bit more proficient with the Orisa than unfortunately Angel Prime was, and even this right now Valkyrie is good.
And a big EMP, just Metro just takes out two, but not also does not open a big opportunity for Team Eternal, even though it's a kind of efficient ulti. Uh, and with a lot of sacrifice here and there, the point is still held strong with 2 minutes left on the clock by Team Deathwing.
Yeah, that was kind of surprising. The MP was good, but unfortunately not enough people were alive, I feel like, in that case for the MP to be really efficient. And Night Moon gets a pick off. Wow, that's surprising actually.
A very good pick up. And it's a mercy too, and that gives an opportunity for Bastion to become a heap of scrap. Maybe that is the opportunity. That is such a very good statement. I can't see how they cannot lose this point. It's insane if that's the case. Abrak, what are you doing, my friend? You just got cut off. But this is just buys them more enough time for Team Eternal gets the point. And they are going in strong with Lunex basically losing his car. It's about to lose himself at the moment. Oh no, actually just running away pretty efficiently. They want to get this point and they want to get this fan with Angel Prime with having a low HP advantage and gets taken out. And Stacy just now popping off out of the Bastion into the Archer, gets two down, and shuts the momentum down of Team Eternal, forcing them to run back and get themselves back together once more.
Yeah, that is something they have to keep an eye out. I mean, Deathwings have two ults ready right now. They do have the Transcendence, they do have the Genji Blade. Meanwhile, on the other side, we have the Sound Bear, we have a Nano Boost, we have a Graviton, we have an EMP.
An EMP on Nida. Let's see if anything going to happen. A grab just only gets, but that's like a an alt economy, not really much being taken out except for a Diva mech. But let's see if they can make something happen. Abrak holding on for dear life as he just taken out. And here comes a Spirit Drag, two Dragon, is out, separating his teammates. But Metropan takes out a bladed Genji. It's looking a little bit chaotic at the moment. As I cannot really see what is going on, and it is looking back and forth at the moment. It's hard to dictate, but looks like Deathwing with the spawn advantage is able to hold on the point, even though Eternal is able to snatch one pick off the point.
Eternal didn't play that badly. They just kind of ran out of steam in that fight against the spawn advantage that was against them. They weren't trading that badly. They kind of traded one for one, but it doesn't help you on the start. And Night Moon is showing off with Sombra. Could be dangerous, but still doing a good job there.
And Blue Dog basically gets hacked with enough, enough opportunity to save his mother from death. This is not looking good play for Team Deathwing as Eternal having another second light. Here comes the Diva Bomb and gets Mitrupan out. Looks it's basically look like a 2v1. Will we be able to kick off the rest of Team Eternal off the point? No, the spawn advantage is getting in Team Deathwing's favor, as even though the point is about to go for the second, but not enough for a Team Eternal. With almost 3 minutes left on the clock, they'll still make something more happen.
Yeah, they're having quite a bit of a problem right now. They had a graviton that didn't really hit anything, unfortunately for them, which puts them quite a disadvantage. Now they do have an EMP, but they do have 3 ults against them with an Earth Shatter, with a Transcendence, with a Nana boost. They have to be aware of those. They're trying to move just straight to the point.
Either no, it's like they're desperation. We will see EMP is out basically for team, but Ninth Moon just goes out sacrificing, and the only thing is a casualty is of course the mech. It looks like it's as Abrak with the red stuff running around trying to find opportunities as all their team is red being cleaned up with assistance of his teammates. Are they still rushing Metro popping off? Where is that madman just taking out back in the background? Will Team Eternal take this opportunity? Looks like they do. But this is not going to. Is it gonna be a good judgment? It's hard to say. It's very hard to say. Hammer down by Angel doesn't clip anybody off their wings. And Abrak rushing in like the matador he is. Doesn't get anything, and here comes the bomb. Nothing yet. All of this have done mostly is, even though Metropan has done well in the back line, they're still losing so much time. Is it the opportunity for them not to get composure? Because even though Team Eternal gets a good opportunity, I feel they don't really gather themselves, capitalize on it.
It's not that they're not really capitalizing on it. Oh.
Oh, we had a big play. Now, that's a big play, even though like push the Blue Dog to sleep takes 2. 1 second, 1 minute away. Deathwing is just 1 minute away for their match point. What is going on? Do you think Team Eternal needs to get their composure more, because they are very aggressive? They are making opportunities happen, but nothing to capitalize on.
It's half of it. The aggressiveness is working in their favor, but they're for their own taste a bit too aggressive. For example, we saw towards the end of towards in the middle of the fight where then it started to turn around. They got a hit off there, but there's a high noon going on now.
And okay, with a big advantage. Well, finally we'll have enough team. High noun, a hammer down takes 2, and the dragon positioning does not favor Angel Prime and Metro, as this does enough damage to take out 2. Looks like it is GG for Team Deathwing. Just a good shatter, a good dragon alt utilization. Deathwing, our Oversalt winner for tonight. GG's.
Yeah, and since I interrupted my point for a moment, it was just like they had a chance, they were too aggressive, and then just pushed forward and kind of tried to take out the enemy team while ignoring the point for a few times, was it? And we remember that one, that was towards the end. Funnily enough, the Reinhardt gets the kills for those, even though he did quite a good amount of damage. But he still gets the play of the game. And
Very well deserved.
honestly, I feel like Eternal is not a bad team. They're just a bit too far forward with their aggressiveness in the most cases, and that kind of cost them half the game, I feel like.
Well, that's up for tonight, ladies and gent. Thanks for only all of the team that participated with us. And thanks to everybody who organized it. Reef, Cat, Toadette, everybody knows who you are. All the from the Oversalt team. Uh, thanks, very special thanks to our Sam Bror, who is hosting basically our producer and doing all the camera work for tonight. Please, everybody, if you can, just follow us on Twitch, on our Oversalt Twitch, or you can watch out more of our VODs at our YouTube channel. This is Farix, and special thanks as well to my co-caster Alan Veal for hosting this with
Yeah.
me. So we'll have a great weekend, everybody. We are signing off for tonight. We love you. Mwah.
Bye.